Everything you said we already knew, more or less.
Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
Right, fellas, let's cast a bit of light on the situation. Because we've got a Q&A to film. Need a beverage. Something just to wet the old whistle. Coconut shell. Oh well. I'll be in the keg a couple of days. Alright. Got a manageable 10 questions, so I thought I'd just hit it quick and run through them. And here we go. Jason O. Mahoney, he asks, what water profile did you use for this batch of Shy PA? And also, and so far in your experience, do the water additions make a considerable difference to your brews? So, I essentially Burtonized the water for the Coconut Shy PA, and of course it's going to be different for your water profiles that you're using. Everyone's going to be slightly different, and so it calculates it differently, but in essence it was Burtonized. And the second part of that question, do I find a considerable difference? Yes. That much so that I wish I'd have done it a long time ago. It was something that I thought would be too complicated to get into, so I was putting it off, and really it ain't that complicated to dabble in it. I'm still in the stages where I need to get a pH reader to really nail down the additions that are going in. So at the minute I'm sort of 90% there, I would say. The next thing is going to be a pH reader, so I can take the mash pH and whatnot, so I can work on the additions. What I will say is that adding them additions does make everything pop. I've mentioned this before in the other videos when I was starting to brew. I think it was after the first brew I did with the water additions, especially with Mosaic. I did a brew with Mosaic in it with the first water additions, and I always had a tropical hop aroma coming out the fermentation bucket and during sort of fermentation when I was opening the fridge. This time, after adding the additions for the first time when using Mosaic, I was getting that tropical note, but I was also getting a real ripe mango juice, which I wasn't getting before. So I can see a big difference. It just makes everything pop, everything sort of separates a little bit, you can taste everything a little bit better. It makes everything a little bit more pronounced. Next question. Michael Lammy, he says, where's the flask? He's referring to the Flask Gordon there, Flask Gordon, Volume 3, because we had 2 failed attempts. For anyone that's not following what the flask reference is, we've got a travelling UK flask, and we've had 3 versions of it. The first one was a water bottle that was pants. The second one looked like it was going to be okay, swing top lid, pants, it leaked. The third one is a screw top mini keg. I think we got it from nakedkeg.com. That shot off to Harry's, and Harry shot it off to Ian Carroll up in, is it Northumberland, I think? Could be wrong. And then he travelled on holiday with it to France, and it made the journey, and he has it. So when his version of the Coconut Shy PA is done, which is brewing up now, he's going to send it out to, I believe, Chris Aston. He's getting it sent to him. So that's where we are with the flask so far. Jay Corey asks, how are the pumps? The 2 pumps that were very kindly sent from Keg Kingdom are working an absolute gem. I'm so pleased with them. I do believe that there's still the discount code running. He hasn't told me otherwise. It's the Brew Pump 3000, and if you head over to Keg Kingdom and use the discount code TOM, you'll get 10% off however many you want to buy. But no, they're perfect. They're absolutely bang on. I'm having no problems so far with them, and they have had a decent amount of brews that have had either quite a bit of hoppage in late end, or this Coconut Shy PA, which has had 250 grams of coconut thrown into the flame out, and they just seem to run with no bother. They're nice and quiet. They've got a decent amount of punch to them, and I do notice that if I get any hop that sneaks through the hop blocker and runs into the pump gives a little bit of a tiny grunt, and it just spits them back out and continues to run. Not had them blocked yet, not had any issues with them, so the pumps are absolutely stellar. Kurt Thomas, have you ever brewed a porter, or do you have a favourite porter recipe? I don't think I have brewed a porter here. Possibly tried to brew a stout that turned out to be more like a porter than a stout. I don't think I've ever set out to brew a porter. That's interesting. I guess if I'm going to that sort of style, I'd go more stout anyway. I haven't got a favourite porter recipe because it's not really one of the styles that I drink a lot of. Nick Decker, do you ever just need a top-up brew and throw down an extract or freshwater kit? No. I think there's a misconception with family members and friends that because I brew beer, I think they assume that I'm a pisshead and that I'm at it all the time, and that I need to be brewing every week to have a steady sort of chain of beer that's being looped through myself and recycled back into the water system. I think the last one that they brewed up that's still in the keg, I mean it's at the back end of the keg, it's the Mosaic Pale, and that was brewed up a month and a half ago, something like that, probably longer. So I do like to have a drink, I do like to taste what I've brewed, but I'm doing it more for that. I'm doing it more for having a couple of beers, enjoying what I'm tasting, and then I sort of cut it off. Definitely not enough for me to have to keep brewing or think that I've got to do a cheeky kit to keep the pipeline running. So no, I don't do that. I'd rather wait anyway to do an all grain kit. Andrew Roster, I've just seen his post he's put on Facebook. He's getting his coconut ready for the shy. He's put, what are your top 5 brews you've done? Top 5 brews. In no particular order. Coconut Shy IPA, obviously. The Mosaic Pale, which is still in the keg, like I just said. That was a really nice pale. Done a couple of wheat beers, but the one that stood out was a Hoegaarden clone. That turned out pretty damn good. Age of Exploration, that was a single hop pale with Columbus, and I did that beer because after brewing the Coconut Shy IPA at Harry's, I think that was the first time I'd ever got my hands on some Columbus, and just smelling them out of the bag, they smelled absolutely phenomenal. If you've never used Columbus hop, it's like a very sherbety, intense citrus, and I just wanted to throw down a pale just using it as a single hop throughout, and that one turned out pretty damn good. And one more, I think it'd have to be the American IPA kit that you used to be able to get at Idle Valley. One, because it was a smashing kit, and two, because it was my first all grain. Gareth James, he says, do you ever enter your beers into competitions? Well, I've entered them into the competitions within the homebrew community. So Smash Off, I entered that twice and messed it up twice. The first time I didn't use a single hop, I added 2 hops by mistake in the dry hop, and the second time I was testing it off the keg that much that I didn't have enough to bottle and send it. And I went to the SJ Pour, and that was incredible. That was a brilliant experience entering that one. But I haven't entered anything outside the community. I've looked into it. It's something that I want to do, and then I never get around to doing it. Homer Recluse says, what brewing software do you use? Could you do a quick demo video someday? I'm out of here. I use Beersmith, and maybe one day when I've completely got my head around it, I'll do a video on how I get a recipe up and running on it. But I'm still learning on it myself, and so it'd be just a lot of me going, oh, I've done that wrong, need to go back and change it. But Beersmith is what I use. The last one, which I'm sure you'll get plenty of help in the comments. Dan Pattymore says, I have a grain pack for a 23 litre brew, but only a 12 litre pan. So I'm guessing it's only got a 12 litre pan. What's the best way to proceed? I've done loads of extract brewing, but I want to try the grain thing. You can put the recipe into Beersmith and you can scale recipes up and scale recipes down. That will tell you how much of each grain you'll need instead of the full amount. That's if the packs are individual. If you've got it all in a big bag, then you might have to get a bigger pot and crack on with it big time. And that's it for another Q&A video. Thank God for that. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you again with the next one. So as always, guys, don't forget to thumbs better. Don't forget to hit this like and hit subscribe. Click it and you won't miss out what's coming up next. Share the video. Get out of all to see you. Until next time, I'm out of here. Boo!